So, welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is actually to look at, the skeletal structure of faith.
Yeah.
And we are pulling from a really specific source for this.
Right, yeah. It's a sermon from Pastor Sung No.
Yeah, Pastor Sung No at Praise Presbyterian Church. And he dives into the 17th century Westminster Shorter Catechism, which I know sounds
super dry and academic.
exactly like a history textbook. But it's basically a historical Q&A manual designed to teach core concepts of the Christian faith. We are focusing purely on question 21 from that manual, which is, who is the Redeemer?
Right.
And Pastor No frames this using a really great building metaphor. Like, you look at the paint and windows of a skyscraper, but when an earthquake hits, all you actually care about are those steel I-beams hidden inside the drywall.
Yeah, the core structure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grasping this specific concept of a Redeemer is meant to be that structural skeleton for you when the earthquakes of life hit.
And to understand how that skeleton holds up, we really have to look at the exact words being used in the text. I mean, people often use Savior and Redeemer interchangeably, but this sermon draws a very sharp line between them.
Okay, so what's the line?
Well, a Savior is all about the result, right? Like being rescued from danger. But a Redeemer is about the specific, agonizing price paid to buy someone out of slavery or debt.
Oh, I see. So it's like, think of a savior as a heroic bystander pulling you out of a burning building. You're safe, result achieved.
Right, exactly.
But a redeemer is someone stepping into a courtroom and liquidating their entire life savings to pay off your insurmountable, life-ruining legal debt. Like, one is a rescue mission and the other is an incredibly costly transaction.
Yeah, that financial and legal aspect is key here. The whole concept is rooted in the ancient Old Testament law of the kinsman redeemer.
The kinsman redeemer.
Yeah. Back then, if someone fell into extreme poverty and sold themselves into slavery, someone else could buy their freedom. But the ancient laws were incredibly strict about who was even allowed to, open their wallet. Two conditions had to be met.
Okay, what were they?
First, the Redeemer had to be a close blood relative. A complete stranger couldn't just intervene. And second, they had to have the independent wealth to pay the debt. I mean, a fellow slave or a debtor couldn't do it.
Wow. Okay, so Pastor No applies this ancient law to all of humanity today, right?
He does, yeah.
And he uses his own family as an example, which I thought was fascinating. Like, his last name was No. His son didn't vote to become a No. He just inherited it by being born.
Just automatically gets it.
Right. So the sermon argues that all humans inherit a spiritual bankruptcy, a debt from Adam, simply by being born human.
Yes, exactly.
But wait, if every single human is born into this spiritual bankruptcy, how can anyone qualify to be the Redeemer? Like, if you're human, you're broke. And if you're God, you aren't a blood relative. It's an impossible paradox.
You've hit the exact problem. It is a complete legal deadlock. Humanity is stuck in a cell that cannot be opened from the inside. Like, the key had to come from the outside.
So where does it come from?
Well, the sermon presents the incarnation, right? God becoming human as the only logical solution to those two impossible conditions. By becoming human, Jesus becomes kin. The text points out he experienced hunger, tears, betrayal, physical pain.
So he fully qualifies as a true blood relative.
Exactly. But by remaining divine, he possesses the infinite wealth required to actually pay the debt.
Oh, wow. So he's like the billionaire relative stepping into the courtroom.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Understanding this mechanic shifts faith from just memorizing historical facts to trusting a person. Pastor No compares it to marriage. You don't marry someone because you memorize their biography and pass a written test on it.
Right. You rely on their character. You trust who they are. And knowing the specific identity of the Redeemer turns a fragile, emotion-based faith into a secure, logical anchor. It stops being about just trying to feel good and becomes about resting on a transaction that has already been completed by the only person uniquely qualified to do it.
Right. Going back to that internal skeleton we started with. We constantly try to be our own redeemers, right? We use money, success, or relentless people-pleasing to try and buy our way out of feeling inadequate.
We definitely do.
So consider this for a second. What impossible debts are you currently exhausting yourself trying to pay off that you fundamentally cannot afford?